But what I want to do right now for you, David, is I'm going to read for you this rant that I'm glad I didn't post to social media because I think I would have regretted it. But I want to.
I think it's good to post through the podcast.
I don't know. It's if anything, it'll make a good sound clip.
Before the rant, I want to say that I'm surprised. I would have expected your response to have been anger at Joe Jorgensen.
Interesting.
At the libertarians for getting angry and abandoning en masse. So I'm already quite surprised. I was expecting you to have a rant against her.
This is not going to be family friendly. So if you're driving in your car listening to this, please turn it off if your kids are in the car. JoJo tweeted that it's not enough for libertarians to be passively not racist, but rather actively anti-racist. She also said, Black Lives Matter. The loser brigade lost their mind. So later, she clarified that she was talking about ending qualified immunity, police brutality, the drug war, mandatory minimums, unequal sentencing, etc. You know, all the things that libertarians are actively seeking that will actually make things better for Black lives. Of course, the loser brigade's interpretation was that she supports the organization BLM and that she was showing herself to be a cultural Marxist. Imagine thinking that JoJo, the candidate that makes Trump look like a goddamn commie, imagine thinking she's a Marxist. She thinks taxation is theft. She wants to legalize all the guns. She believes in unfettered capitalism. She wants to end central banking. She thinks property rights are human rights. Imagine thinking that someone like that is a secret Marxist or leftist. What if she just meant what she said? What if she just meant Black Lives Matter? What if I told you that libertarianism is the only actively anti-racist ideology there is? The left often calls people racist for saying things like all lives matter or for refusing to march with a leftist organization. What if the loser brigade is acting exactly like the leftists they despise when they claim to know that she's secretly in her heart and mind a leftist, a Marxist, or at least a Marxist supporter, despite 30 years of radical libertarian activism and a cultural platform and principles that no Marxist would ever agree with? Really? Really? A whiskey-drinking, hockey-playing, taxation is theft, you pussies, libertarian is secretly a Marxist or a Marxist supporter. The worst thing that you can say is that she tried to capitalize on a cultural movement that was created by a leftist organization. So what? Why should the shit she says only appeal to conservatives? Many people are staunch libertarians and anarcho-capitalists because they heard a message from libertarians that resonated with their leftist sensibilities. Remember Ron Paul and his anti-war leftist sensibilities and all the blue Republicans, which made up the largest faction, by the way, of grassroots supporters in the Ron Paul movement. They were Democrats, now they're libertarians because of Ron Paul and his leftist sentiment of anti-war. If I'm embarrassed to be part of the libertarian movement, it's because losers who have never done anything for the movement, who have never contributed a goddamn thing other than their armchair criticisms, are so quick to throw the one person who has the best chance of making more libertarians under the bus. These losers are a continual source of disappointment for me. Meh, you lost my vote by saying that one thing that I'm going to take in the most uncharitable way possible, despite 30 years of solid, consistent, philosophically principled activism. Now I'm going to vote for the political opportunist who is indistinguishable from every other statist on the ballot and who has 20 rape charges and was buddies with Epstein. That's what these losers sound like. This is why we can't have nice things as libertarians. Trump, Biden, and Hillary supporters all defend their absolutely shitty, filthy, war criminal, Epstein-loving, sexual assaulting, money printing, ridiculous tweeting, race baiting, continually pandering asses. Meanwhile, libertarians not only don't defend JoJo, they actively put the worst interpretation on a pretty straightforward tweet. Maybe she's not a secret Marxist, guys. Maybe she doesn't support cancel culture. Maybe she just thinks Black Lives Matter. What's more likely, that this hockey-playing, whiskey-drinking, taxation is theft libertarian is a secret Marxist, or that libertarians will find the most minute excuse to never support a libertarian candidate? End of rant.